we wanted to be immersive and I don't know that we necessarily pulled this off, but maybe even hypnotic, in pulling the audience along this like epic story.
Behold.
He's here. He's here.
Mother! Father is here!
The king, milady. The king.
Your fate is set and you cannot escape it. How I've missed you, my son. One day this kingdom will be yours.
Thank you, father. My king.
You set out to make the most accurate Viking film ever.
Yeah.
Why is being historically correct important to you?
Yeah. It's not important to cinema or to storytelling. It's just important to me, and Peter Brook's King Lear or Coppola's Dracula are, examples of made up stuff that works, fantastic, But for me, partially, I just like to learn about the past, and maybe I would have been a historian if I didn't want to tell stories. But I think on a practical level, it's great because there's less choices, and everyone is aligned. We all know what we're after, and that's historical accuracy. So there's no should this chair be a little bit more like that or a little bit more like this to convey what we're trying to convey in her psychological landscape? It's no, just make me a museum recreation of that chair. Make me a museum recreation of that sword. Let's go. I wasn't initially interested in Vikings, and in fact I was kind of allergic to them because of the macho stereotype, which of course is also there. This is a macho movie, let's be real about it. But I wasn't interested in that, and then also the misappropriation of Viking culture by right wing. I didn't care. I didn't want to open a book. But when I went to Iceland, and I was incredibly inspired by the landscapes, no surprise, and that got me reading the sagas and the Eddas. And so then when Alex said, I want to make a Viking movie to me, there we go.
You must choose between kindness for your kin or hate for your enemies.
Your strength breaks men's bones. I have the cunning to break their minds.
And night by night, we will carry out my pledge of vengeance. I will avenge you, Father.
I will avenge you, father.
I will save you, Mother.
I will save you, mother.
I will kill you, Fjord.
Alexander, he wanted to play a Viking for over a decade. But did you two always see eye to eye on which Viking he had to become?
Well, I sort of dishonestly said that I had a Viking story for him when we first met, and then I hit the books and came across the story of Amleth, which was great because it's what Shakespeare based Hamlet on, and then The Lion King. So it's a story that everyone knows, on the planet, So I can make a more complex Viking movie because it's a narrative that everyone knows, and it's just a part of them. And Alex was keen on it.
Do children in Scandinavia play Vikings and pillagings like children in America play cowboys and Indians?
No, not really. It's almost, in a way, like it wasn't, when I moved to the States like 20 years ago, it felt like people were more fascinated by Vikings and Norse mythology than I remember growing up in Sweden. It's almost like it's there somehow in the soil, it's around you, but it's not. As a kid, I was fascinated by the rune stones, because there were several close to our family home, and of course I was mesmerized by those, but it wasn't now like growing up in Sweden. It's kind of the same thing as like ABBA was never very popular when I was a kid in Sweden. It was like it's from there, so it's like yeah, we know a little bit about it, but like we didn't really care.
Still, you wanted to make a film about Vikings for over a decade.
Yeah. It is a fascinating era, and it's a fascinating culture. The mythology has obviously informed a lot of other projects. Lord of the Rings is basically Norse mythology. There are numerous other projects that are loosely or specifically based on Norse mythology, but I had never seen a big epic Viking movie, and I was wondering why, because again, traveling around the world as a Swede, people had this fascination with the culture and the people, and that's when I started thinking, well, maybe this is a good opportunity to try to put something together that is a big epic Viking movie, but with that stays true to the Icelandic sagas, that feels accurate in its depiction of the people and the time.
His spirit animals are a bear and wolf, but how do you find your inner bear?
Yeah, it started with trying to start the transformation by about 5 months before we started shooting to physically resemble more of a bear than I normally do. So it was about putting on quite a bit of weight. And then in those scenes, there's one scene specifically where Amleth transforms from his human form to his spirit animal, which is Björnulfur, which is also his name, which means bear wolf. And it was about tapping into something more atavistic, more primal, and let that just come out. And we didn't really rehearse the scene. It was just more about kind of pulling the ripcord and going mental.
I am Amleth the Bear Wolf, son of King Aurvan and Warraven, and I am his vengeance! Kill him!
He's a brute and he's very violent. Was he fun to be for a little while?
It was an incredible experience, and a very interesting character because he is a brute and he's incredibly violent. he's a berserker by trade, and is a killing machine in the beginning of the movie. But deep down, he's an abandoned boy who tries to be reunited with his mother. So that was important to hold on to. That it wasn't that dichotomy, that there was something vulnerable inside, and that there was a longing for something. It can't just be a cliche of a tough warrior.
True. And was he difficult to let go?
No. I still have a little berserker inside me somewhere, I think, but I don't think I'll ever let go of Amleth. This was the greatest experience of my career. It was extraordinarily physically and mentally challenging to shoot the movie, but I did it with fantastic people and a project that I was so invested emotionally in that he's always going to be a part of me. But I didn't really. It wasn't that like it was hard for me to move, like to kind of come back to civilization after those 6 months of shooting the movie. I was quite happy to be back in a real bed with and a hot shower.